Today I'm going to show you 3 boring AI automation that you could sell recruitment agencies, HR departments, and anybody doing hiring for 2.2K or more. I built these using an A10 and a combination of third-party platforms like Phantom Buster and Apify, and I'm going to walk you through how everything works in a second. If you want access to these templates, you can find them in my school community, AI Automation Founders, where I also teach you how to start and scale your AI agency to 10K and more. So the very first automation is an end-to-end CV screening and scoring system. This automation is a 3-step automation and comes from the business problem that recruiters have to go through an enormous amount of CVs on a day-to-day basis for each job application, right? And they need to assess which candidate is the most appropriate, why, and they kind of need to have a reason to then proceed with the candidates at a later step of the recruitment process. So how this automation works on the top level, and then we will run it, is the first and initial part grabs all of the CV from whichever repository they are currently using, which is, in our case, it's a Google Drive, where we have multiple formats. And you will see it's Google Docs, it's PDFs, and etc. Then what's going to happen is that once we start running the first automation, the automation will get all of these CVs, will download them and grab all of the information. And if you see right here, we have multiple formats and extension that we can use. And then right here, we have an information extractor, which has the goal of extracting last name, emails, and all of these information that are then going to be populating our database right here. As you can see here, we have name, surname, and let me see if I can zoom in a little bit, email, and these are all information that are inside the CV itself. So it's just gathering information. But then here it starts to do something a bit more interesting, right? Because here we have the latest job title that the person has, the years of experience, which is calculated with AI, a summary of the profile, which we will use at a later step, right? And this is a pretty big one because it needs to be very exhaustive for the AI to be able to then calculate a score at a later stage. And we can read it, right? The business development manager with 7+ years of experience, driving revenue, and etc., etc., etc. Then key skills, which are also something similar to the summary profiles, where they are listed and they are gathered from AI. So whether they are explicitly mentioned in the CV or whether you need to kind of get them out of the CV, this is something that AI takes care of. Then highest education degree and university, graduation years, and it will understand if the employee is currently employed or not, meaning if they have a running contract or not. And this is the initial automation. The score will come at a later stage once we match it with the job description. The second part of the automation is then, so this is the initial part. And now you can clearly see that if I go back to my initial view and I now make like this, I had 3 CVs and you can clearly see that all 3 of them are now right here with the specific information. The second part so this is kind of an automation that it's a one-off that you start running for their system where you gather all of these in 1DB. You can use a Google Sheet like I did. You can use, I don't know, Airtable, ClickUp, whatever platform you want. It's just a matter of changing the node. The second thing is an ongoing automation that runs whenever a new CV is submitted. In our example right here, I'm going to press it and I'm going to choose a CV. There you go. I uploaded my CV and now I can press submit. And this is an automation that once you push it to production, it will continuously running on the back end and it will continuously update your new ATS with the incoming CVs. What happens is exactly the same thing as above, meaning we have a similar automation that runs, and inside here, it's again an extractor and information node just like this one with all of the fields inside. And by the way, everything is downloadable from my community, so feel free to review what I put, how I calculated the things, and etc. And then once the automation will be finished, we will have 2 things right now. The first one is something that actually you can already check, which is this CV right here. So the new CV has been uploaded where all of the other CVs are. In our case, it's a Google Drive, can be whatever. And the second thing that we notice is that once the automation finished running, we have another line with all of my information. These are fake information. Other than this is one of my dummy emails, so feel free to reach out. And yeah, so Luxembourg, my AI agency, then my years of experience, then here a bit of summary of what I did. Certification, I on purpose put none. And then here, categories, project management, because my latest employment, which is what I asked her to gather, is on launching a project. That's how I framed it inside the CV, which is the community aspect. Okay, is current employed? Yes, because I'm self-employed. Now that we are at the second step, we then go in the last step, which is, okay, all of the things that we built so far are nice, but how are we going to actually execute and save time to recruiters or whomever? It's nice if we have a job description that then we can match with the profile and with all of the things that AI helped us create. And that's when it comes the last automation. So right here, I'm going to press execute workflow. And you will see that we have a job description. So summary, key responsibilities, qualification, and so on and so forth. And right now, out of simplicity, I have prepared one already. So let me attach it, and you will be able to see that I have, so stop listening, I have a position summary, and then it's all pre-populated. And if I now, let me also unpin the data, and let me go right here. And if I now run the workflow, what's going to happen is that the workflow is going to gather all of the CVs that we have inside our Google Sheet. So all of the CVs right here with all of the specific information. And then we will see that whenever the workflow will do one loop right here, which means that with GPT-5, it started scoring and etc. It will provide a score in the last column right here. And this is a fit to the position that we're currently analyzing, right? So the closer the person is to the profile that we're trying to look, the higher the score will be, so the closer to 100%. Because score in this logic go from 0 to 100%. And let me show you. And of course, I made a position so that it could be me the best, let's say, profile in here. And the logic that we are going to be using, it's a pretty extensive prompt. So, but just to give you an idea of how we did it. So here we gave simple scores like 80 to 100. And then here it's where the mess really comes in. So this is also something that I actually did for a company. Like this was the MVP that I prepared before actually fully automating everything with their system and etc. So here you can see like I gave a specific score to each of the things, right? So how accurate is the title, the skill match, years of experience, industry category, education, certification, language, notes, and then here it's pretty extensive one. It will be available for free, so feel free to get it. Cool. Now, just as an FYI, I just wanted to wait the last iteration so that we could see the full thing on like working, and then we can move to the next workflow. And this is the last score. As mentioned, I put a position that was very close to what my profile is, and therefore that's why my score is. The second automation is an AI-assisted LinkedIn outreach system that sends personalized messages to the target audience that you are running a campaign for. The business context behind this is that not only you do passive recruitment, which is ensuring that the right candidates, are coming to you and they are submitting the CV and etc., but you also sometimes need to do active recruitment, which is in case you don't see the candidates, you need to connect with them and let them know about the opportunity and so on and so forth. And additionally, recruiter spends like 90% of their time on LinkedIn. And that's why this is a huge time savings, because it can help them save something that's very repetitive and that takes, generally speaking, like hours and hours of finding the right profile, sending the proper messages, and so on and so forth, right? So this automation has also some value behind the time that they are now able to save just because now AI can support them. How does this work? You have a form that you execute and you submit here whatever you want. Like, let's imagine that we want to target CEOs of, real estate agencies, in London with 11 to 20, I guess, employees. I don't know why we want to connect with these guys, but let's. So I'm going to submit. What's going to happen now is that the information extractor is a step that allows us to format the information in a way that I can feed the right things inside the Apify scraper. Apify is a third-party platform, and if you see right here in our runs, we have that this one is currently running, and it found 3 results, and this is exactly what we connected from our origin, which is NA10. And with this, we are scraping leads using another existing platform, which is Apollo. And long story short, basically what Apify is a third-party platforms where people that or developers can put their scrapers in, and you can use them simply, by paying a small fee and so on and so forth. Now, I limited the whole thing to 3 items, just because I didn't want to make it more. But however, you can tweak it inside the prompt. There will be a field which is called items, and instead of 3, put 100, 1000, whatever. Then for each and every single one of these profiles with the information that we have ingested, which is city, country, email, first name, full name, function, last name, LinkedIn URL, then, United Kingdom, so the country of origin, and all of these information, we are creating a personalized icebreaker with, hey, name, enjoy the blah, blah, blah. And you will see right here that, sorry, that the table has icebreakers that are very Spartan, very casual, something very short and punchy. It's all inside the prompt, how you can make the AI sound human or like this. And you see that it changes every time, and it adapts. So enjoyed your take on innovation, loved seeing your take on data science, and it's also something related to the latest posts. Once these information are then extracted, it will go inside your a Google Sheet, and it will populate all of the information that it has extracted with also the icebreaker. And why do we need this icebreaker? Because once we have this, then we can automate the process of reaching out to people with accessing third-party platforms like Phantom Buster. Now here in my case, I did not activate it. However, everything is already configured for you to be able to simply, press here and then run it. And the reason is because I'm also running other campaigns on the back end, so it will just mess up what I'm currently doing. However, very effective and highly recommended for recruiters. And this is also something else that if you do it at scale, because the ROI is finding the right candidate for your job. And so the ROI is pretty extensive. And this is also another automation that's very valuable for recruiter. The third and last boarding automation is a candidate communication and FAQ system powered with a RAG. What does it mean? It means that we have generally speaking, somewhere in our companies or in our SOPs, whatever, we have a document which is similar to this, which is for our hiring agency, Mark Antonius AI, where we have the general hiring processes, we have the FAQs, application review and status, so that candidates can ask, hey, I haven't received back from you in 1 week. Is this normal? Is it not? And etc. So this has a lot of value in terms of candidate experience. If you ever been on the other side of the hiring process, you know how stressful it is, how candidates often reach out to recruiters and start all of those communication and etc. And having a system that it's intermediate between candidate and recruiters and can vet these communication and say, hey, we are still within our regular timings, so don't reach out to our recruiters, or hey, this is totally not normal, so let me give you a contact for the recruiter. Can save a lot of time to recruiters, right? And then they can focus on more value-added activities like finding the right candidates, filling the right jobs, or having interviews with people and so on. So how does this work? The automation is going to, when it starts, it's going to get the document. So this FAQ system right here, it's going to download it. So right here, if you see, we have the possibility of downloading again the thing. And it's then going to upload it inside a vector database. For this one specific, we used Pinecone. And if you see right here, once I start refreshing, you will see that the knowledge appears in here. And you will see that it literally chunked the document into smaller chunks for the AI to be able to digest it better, right? This is what it's doing. And here you will see Mark Antonius AI, candidate hiring and FAQ knowledge base, blah, 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 blah. Okay? And then we have now that our document has been broken down into 10 small bunches. Now, this is the first and initial part of the RAG system. So let's now imagine that we send an email to my other dummy. So we're right here and we're like, question on hiring, right? And how long should I wait before hearing back from you? It's been already 5 days. Thanks. Okay, and we're gonna send the email. Once you're here, we're gonna execute the workflow and we're gonna see what happens. So once it starts running, the first thing that the automation is going to do is classify the intent of the email and understand if there is the need of supporting a candidate or not. In fact, if we open this, we're like, okay, the category is candidate support. And here I said an email that is related to helping candidate address a concern. Questions are generally related to hiring timeline, to get answers or other related issues. Then right here, we go inside the agent. And inside the agent, we have that we defined basically what the agent should be doing and how it should be answering, right? So what is the styles? What is the response requirements? Where is the knowledge base? How you should close and what you should do, the format, and so on. And at the end, it will answer the email. Question on hiring, we will have that the email is my other dummy email. And you're like, thank you for reaching out. Typically, if your profile is shortlisted, you will be contacted directly via email with the next steps. Since it has been 5 days, you have not heard back, your application is likely still under review. Please note there is no fixed timeline for the hiring process, as it depends on factors such as the number of candidates, role urgencies. You will be contacted. If you have questions, feel free to reach out again. Kind regards. In my DB, let's now see if I have anything that it's related to this question to double check if I shared the right information. Feedback timelines vary depending on, right? Candidate will be contacted once the decision or next step is confirmed. This means that in my RAG, I said that I don't have a specific timeline for the candidates to receive an information, and this is exactly what we got. Okay, so thank you so much for making it until the end of the video. My intent with this video was to give you 3 simple systems that I know for a fact deliver value to recruiters. And the reason comes from the fact that I and many other people, both within my community and within also generally the AI space, already sold for 2.2K or more. Let me also say that this is not the only way to build these 3 systems, and these 3 systems are also not the only system that you can sell to recruiters. However, these are a great starting point, and there is already market validation because they are being sold, and I know for a fact that these deliver the value that people are creating. With that being said, once again, if you want to access all of the templates for free, you can access it from my school community. Please, just one disclaimer, take some time to answer the question because not everyone gets in. And with that being said, I'll see you guys on the next one.